Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Xplor show. I am excited. Today, we have a very special guest. He is a co-author of a #1 best-selling book, The Definitive Guide to TikTok Ads on. He's spoken at over 700 conferences across the world. He is a prior leadership. He's held prior leadership positions at many organizations such as Yahoo, American Airlines, and so forth. And currently, he is the Chief Technology Officer of Blitz Metrics. Dennis Yu, welcome to the show.
Awesome, Scott. Good to see you.
Hey, so it looks like you're in a hotel. We were just chatting. Where are you at right now?
I'm in Suriname, which is this Caribbean island in South America. Well, not an island, it's a country, but yeah. And I'm keynoting here at their social media conference.
Okay, very cool. So social media. So you are an absolute expert when it comes to social media, and we've been working with you here now for several months. You've got a strategy called dollar a day strategy. Tell us a little bit about this, kind of where it started and why you started Blitz Metrics.
So I'm a math guy. As you can tell, I'm Asian. I'm about as Chinese as Panda Express. I was born in America. But I was really good at math. And so I just absolutely blasted everybody when it came to math tests. And I competed in math competitions. I traveled. I went to math parties. You know what they do at math parties, Scott?
I do not.
Math.
So you're part of the mathletes.
Yeah, mathlete. And what I learned is that I was good at it. And I sucked at English and art and these other creative sorts of things. But I would just kill it when it came to things like the SAT. I had a perfect score on the math. I had a 1580, so I missed 2 things on verbal. And when it came to the internet, I just kind of was in the right place at the right time when Yahoo started. So I was one of the first people there. And I learned as a search engine engineer that the search engine is trying to find out what the right answer is. And if it likes what you're doing, it'll give you more of that same thing. And the internet is a big place where there's more and more people doing more and more things. If you can just feed it the right signal, it'll give you more. It's literally that simple. And I found that.
Let me ask you real quick. So when you say search engine, you're talking, just to make sure everybody understands, you're talking SEO, because we always hear these buzzwords and terms, SEO and whatnot. That's what you're referring to, correct?
All these buzzwords on SEO and social media and influencer marketing and PR and word of mouth, and like all of those are really the same thing, which is if you have something that's doing well, then you can get more of that same thing. So if you're really good at, being a listings agent in a particular city, then you'll get more people that want to sell their house in that particular city. If you have a restaurant and people really like your food and they talk about it, let's say you're Chick-fil-A, then you can open up more Chick-fil-A's because word of mouth and social media and SEO and whatever all those things are, those channels will help you get more of that. So the dollar a day strategy is you take the thing that's been proven to work, not an idea that you have, not something that you think could work, not something that you really believe in the future could be amazing. You take something that's working and you put $1 a day, which is a testing strategy. It's just to test it. And then you give it 7 days. So you've spent $7 to see whether that one thing will give you more. And you don't just put out one thing, just like taking a 3-point shot. Even if you're Steph Curry, you want to take multiple 3-point shots if you just need to make one. Or even if you're blind and you suck like me, you're going to take as many 3-point shots as you can because you just need to make one to win. And when you it's a testing strategy. So it's not like some fad. So when you put more and more of these shots on goal, you'll find a winner. And we've done this thousands of times.
So $1 a day. So let's step back here real quick. Yeah. So you started at Yahoo. You were working on search engine and understanding how that worked behind the scenes, correct? Yeah. And then from there, you started to think, well, I could use what I've learned here, take it out to the market and put it in front of thousands, millions of people. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah.
So then from there, you've created this dollar a day campaign strategy. Which says, hey, take all these things you're doing, start blasting them out, put $1 a day against it so that we can see what the numbers tell us, which ones are working and which aren't. Kind of like you just referenced Steph Curry with the 3-point shooting. And then from there, we take whatever's working, and now we are going to put more of that out and then continue playing with the algorithm. Is that accurate?
Yep, it's accurate. And at first, it started with the search engines because that's all there was. And then there came, YouTube and Amazon, and all of them are actually functioning off of the same algorithm, the matrix that powers dollar a day. So imagine, Scott, you ever saw the Matrix?
Oh yeah.
Morpheus has his hands out. Do you want to take the red pill or the blue pill? Right. And of course, what's the red pill is the one where you get exposed to the truth and what's really going on. So if you want to have a red pill moment about digital marketing, it's this. When you go to Amazon and you search for something and it says, oh, Scott, welcome back. You bought these fluffy towels. Here's other fluffy towels that you might want to buy, right? Here's other things that you might, or you go to Netflix, maybe you have a guilty pleasure and it starts making recommendations and they're pretty good, aren't they?
Yeah. Very accurate.
And then you go to TikTok and maybe you've been, watching Donald Trump videos. And so it shows you more Donald Trump. Like it's learning based on what you were doing, right? Would anyone argue that the system's very smart at trying to figure out what it is based on what you have done, right?
Correct. I think TikTok really, really did this exceptionally well from the start.
Because they're doing facial recognition. It's something they won't admit. And YouTube and Facebook don't. Well, I think they do now, but last year they said they don't do that. And TikTok would never answer the question, but I know internally, can't say it publicly, but yes, they absolutely do facial recognition.
Because that facial recognition tells them what people are actually interested in by their face movements or okay.
Yeah, it recognizes the background. I was at Jake Paul's house, made some random video that Jake Paul was not in, but I was at his house and TikTok's algorithm recognized that I was inside his house and it showed it to other people who have been to the house or who are interested in Jake Paul.
What were you doing at Jake Paul's house?
We're filming a course that we're going to release soon called the Financial Freedom Movement.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've made 300 some videos together. And when it comes out, people are going to say, I know who Jake Paul is, but who's this other dude he's hanging out with? Like, why are they spending all this time together?
I love that. So you're helping.
And I'm trying to influence the algorithm, right? Because if people like Jake Paul and Jake Paul likes me, then people will like me maybe, right?
Okay. So that makes sense. So then you're kind of leveraging that to where it'll hit both of your audiences, which then will hit many more audiences outside of that.
Yeah. So it's called Inception. So if young adults believe that Jake Paul knows how to be an influencer marketing and make money on social media and knows how to get attention and knows how to grow a YouTube channel and do all these things, knows how to box, right? And then Jake Paul says, and the guy who's going to help you grow is this guy standing right next to me, Dennis, and I trust him and he's awesome. And I want you guys to follow everything that he has to say. Then it doesn't matter who I am. Now I have automatic trust, right? It's not a deep fake. He actually, he actually said it. Maybe in a year from now, people won't be able to tell whether Jake Paul actually said it or not, right? But he did.
Deep fakes have become very popular in social media right now, especially. Are you seeing that causing issues with algorithms for some people?
It is. I mean, just 30 minutes ago, this guy sent me a personalized Loom video that he said he made just for me. I looked at it. I know how to tell because I'm an engineer, and it was completely made by AI.
What can you explain real quick what a deep fake is for people that might not understand?
So in the movies years ago, you had special effects where you could make Nicolas Cage or what is the Benjamin Button where the guy got younger and younger? It was Brad Pitt, right? Remember that movie?
I do not remember that movie.
So there's a movie where Brad Pitt starts out as like a baby or he gets older or he's old and he gets like younger and younger. Okay. So when you can have like Arnold Schwarzenegger say something he didn't actually say, but the special effects are so good in the movies that you kind of, like, okay. And now the technology has gotten so easy that you don't need $1 million Hollywood studio. Now I can create a video, like literally right now, like I can open up a tool and do it right now and show you. I can have Joe Biden say that Scott Swaggart's the man and you should just hire him for any of your real estate needs, right? And it'll be believable. You won't be able to tell, right? Well, I mean, if you really look, you can tell, but it's hard to tell. Right?
I was going to say, I would say the majority probably wouldn't know, but there are going to be the few that understand this side of things that probably could tell. But yeah, I've seen it be very successful for many influencers, let's call them. And they've leveraged this. And then you hear these people that they're putting in their deep fakes come out and say, hey, that's not actually me in this. And it's very confusing for the general population like myself, not knowing exactly what that is.
Yeah. Because you
But it
see
could be a
Oprah
tool
saying,
to
hey,
leverage
here's a new weight
things.
loss tool, here's a new bottle, you should buy this.
Exactly.
And you don't know whether Oprah actually said it or not. So take anyone that you trust, like Steph Curry. And imagine Steph Curry said, hey, do you want to learn to play basketball like me? Pay $39 and I'm going to give you this special basketball, whatever, made in China on Amazon.
How many millions of people would sign up for that overnight? I mean, it'd be crazy.
Until they get caught, until the
Yeah.
algorithm catches. But there's algorithms that are fighting algorithms. So it's this bot war and it's hard to tell who's going to win. So it's hard, there's this whole thing going on.
Yeah. So when it comes to SEO, there's all these organizations, there's all these people out there that offer SEO and charge $5, $10, $50, $100,000 a year, a month to run their SEO for them and tell them, hey, we're going to get hits to your page. We're going to bring traffic, which is then going to turn into, leads and money and whatnot. So let's explain what you're doing compared to this. And is this legit, or what's a fair price to pay for something like this? Let's talk a little about that.
Where do we even start? So imagine, Scott, I told you, let's say that you were obese. Like I was a year ago, I was obese. I've lost.
Yeah, you've done
pounds.
awesome. You look great, by the way.
But let's say, I want to hire a weight loss coach. And some weight loss coach says, Dennis, I'm an expert weight loss coach. And if you pay me $5,000 a month, you're going to lose all this weight. And I'll say, okay, great. What do I got to do? Oh, nothing. You just pay me $5,000 a month and you'll lose all this weight. What would you say to that? And this guy, he looks fit and all that kind of stuff. What would you say?
Deal.
SEO is something people want, but I believe it's impossible to purchase. Now, I can say this because I am a search engine engineer. I think I am uniquely qualified and credible, having worked at the search engines, and my job being to protect the search results and do the analytics to prevent people from trying to ruin the search engine results. Like my job was to protect against people trying to sell these services, right? So there's sort of this cops and robbers balance. SEO is something that businesses want for all the reasons that you mentioned, but it cannot be purchased because SEO is the result of content and relationships. So based on word of mouth, based on clients that love you, based on your experience, based on your reputation, the reviews that you have, based on content you create, based on the podcast like we're doing right now. Those are all things. That's content and relationships that can be seen by the search engine, which then drives better rankings when someone types in real estate agent city name, right? So you can't buy SEO. SEO, what you can do, you can't do SEO either. What you can do is develop content and relationships. You can build a better website. You can make videos. You can run ads on social media. You can have a podcast. You can do all these things with the result of ranking better in search. But I would argue, and this pisses off all the people that love to sell SEO services against people who don't know any better, fat men getting shoe shines, but you cannot sell SEO as a service. Can you? There's a lot of people selling it. A lot of people selling, weight loss pills.
A ton of people. Yep. Yeah. And until the last year or so, since I met you, I had no idea. I didn't know the difference. I kind of knew what SEO was, but I would have just paid somebody myself. So what you're saying is you're going to be better off just creating a ton of content of your own out there, making relationships with different people, content with different people, so that when they're looking at certain things in certain cities and individual, that's going to bump you up those ratings doing that versus just paying some random company that promises all these things and trying to get clicks on your page.
So SEO, from the standpoint of most people that are selling it as a service or trying to trick you or their consultant, is about tricking the search engine, right? But take my point of view as a search engine, what I've done for 20 some years. My job is to try to show what actually is the most helpful result. So if you're a real estate agent or if you're whatever kind of business owner, what should you, if you got to assume Google's pretty smart, right?
Oh yeah.
So what can you show Google that would demonstrate that you are trustworthy, that you are actually the best provider of that service? So my buddy Ken, if he runs a pest control company in Portland. So if you do a search for Portland pest control, as of today, he is number one. And there's a bunch of pest control companies, right? He's number one. Why? Is it because he has better SEO? I mean, by definition, he has better SEO because he's ranked number one. But why do you think he's ranked number one for Portland pest control?
Because of his relationships and the amount of content he's put out.
yeah, the relationships and content that he's put out, which means that the content he puts out is not because he's just trying to dance and go viral on TikTok. The content is he is taking care of his customers. He's got all these vans that go around and spray for bugs and kill mice and do all those kinds of things. And he takes really good care of his customers. And so he has 5-star, I think it's like 4.8 stars and 1,000 reviews or something, like legit. His training of his technicians is so good that it results in people leaving great reviews. And then when he says thank you to the customers, so for example, someone leaves a 5-star review on Google, which is great, right? In your GMB, which is called GBP now. You take that, screenshot that, copy that to Facebook or Instagram and say, thank you so much, Sally. We're so happy to be able to serve you, and glad there's no more mice in your house or whatever it might be, right? So the content is not created by some influencer. It's created in the process of taking good care of your customers. So my buddy, Andy Aranda, he runs Pure Plumbing Las Vegas. So he's a $13 million a year plumbing HVAC company. And this guy, he's invested very heavily in training up his people. He's even got like this inside his office. He has this like fake, like plumbing setup kind of thing. He's got a $13 million business, and his number one care is taking care of his clients. So his technicians, he spends so much on training, on making sure they've got the latest equipment and vans and quality people and all that it drives more referral business. And other contractors talk about him. If there's general contractors that are building new homes, they're going to bring him in to install the plumbing. Is it because his SEO is better? Is it because his website is built with some whiz-bang new technology? No, it's because the underlying competence, reputation, all that kind of stuff can be amplified. So the whole idea of dollar a day is take something that's already working and amplify it. And so dollar a day onto Facebook, onto LinkedIn, onto Twitter, and in local service ads if you're in a category that supports LSA, right?
So you
That's
would say
all it is. There's no magic.
Authenticity is going to get you a lot further with SEO than being fake and just trying to create action, I guess, and stuff that people they don't really care about. They want to hear or see more authentic relative information like your friends are doing in their respected industries. Is that right?
It's an amplifier. Yeah, it's SEO is how do you get more out of the thing that's already working? And the same is true on Facebook ads, on LinkedIn, on like you want to run billboards or direct mail. If you don't do a good job and don't have a good reputation, it makes it worse. So what we do is we like to work with people who are doing good things, who have a clear reputation, who have a successful business, and then, wow, work really well. So with the Golden State Warriors, the first year we took them on, we spent $1 million just to test, and we drove $38 million in provable Ticketmaster driven revenue.
Wow.
And the CMO and the other folks said, wow, this is magic. And then they started winning games and we sold even more. I think during the NBA
Crazy
finals,
how that works.
The first time I won the NBA finals, that was I was like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
We did an extra like $20 million just in the playoffs in merchandise tickets. But then again, the tickets were like $2,000 because you couldn't even get them and all that kind of stuff. What we did was when something was working, we'd put more money against it. So we had the largest game in the NBA. And I'm giving you a sports analogy, but think like this only applies to sports. It applies to anything.
Yeah.
We had number one in NBA history ever. It was on Christmas Day, and the Cleveland Cavaliers with LeBron James in the 10th. And we started selling so many tickets. I said, let's put $100,000 against it, right? I'm not a big gambler, but let's put $100,000. Let's put $200,000 against it, right? Because we can drive more sales. If something's working, I'm going to put more on it. And we did the same thing for Rosetta Stone, which is a language learning company. And we were doing pretty well, but we found that coming up to Black Friday, we had a particular ad that was doing well. We had 100 ads all run against $1 a day. And we found one that just did way better than the other ones. All started at $1 a day, then $10 a day, then 100. And the winning ad, we put $1 million a day against.
Wow.
Can you imagine spending $1 million a day on it? That sounds like a risk, doesn't it?
It does. But if the revenue is shown that it's proven, then hey, that's fine.
And it was so good that Mark Zuckerberg mentioned us in, like their annual report, investors conference, like all these kinds of things. Sheryl Sandberg, who was the COO at the time, like Google flew in to see us because we were spending money on Google and YouTube ads and all that. But it's simply the idea of finding something that will scale. Now with Rosetta Stone or the Warriors or Nike or these other ones that we've done stuff for, those are billion-dollar brands. So we can spend that kind of money against a global audience. But if you're just a local service business, you can't spend $1 million a day. You can spend up to the limit of what that market size is. So the beauty in local, like for you, is that you can dominate an entire market. And it's a lot easier to dominate a local market than dominate internationally. There's just fewer competitors, but it is a smaller market. But dollar a day works just as well. In fact, it's easier, I would argue.
Interesting. So I guess if somebody were, say, a local service business they weren't doing any type of advertising, they really didn't have a social presence or they have a social media, they have a website, but they've never really pushed. What would be your number one recommendation to get started today? And how would they go about starting something like this?
So it starts with the signal of what is the thing that is working the best for you. So if you have no social presence, then don't worry about social media. Maybe, what's the best thing? How are people finding you now, right? Maybe it's your Google reviews. Maybe it's, you have referrals from, the loan officers, or because of your association with your church, or, whatever it might be. Wherever you have the strongest connections and where the referrals are already coming from, make 1-minute videos honoring those people. Cell phone, vertical, selfie style, not promotional, but honoring other people. Today, I'm at so-and-so, Italian restaurant. Our family eats here every Friday night, and we order the lasagna and the pepperoni pizza, or just always be looking to honor and show gratitude, but with the people that you work with. So I remember I was in Dallas with Tom Ferry, as you know, he's well known in the world of real estate.
A little bit.
And instead of me making a video saying, "Hey, everybody, I'm a big deal, I'm with Tom Ferry." No, instead it's like, Tom Ferry and I are, we're both having coffee, and I prefer this kind of coffee, and he likes that kind of coffee. And we just had a lightweight moment, right? It's always those kinds of moments that count more. Like I was with Grant Cardone, right? I don't want to name drop. I'll just give you this an example, right? And we're making videos. We made a dozen videos together. And I'm having him explain, like, what's the power of a 1-minute video and how do you do that? And he's doing it while he has grapefruit in his teeth, right?
Yep.
In a very unprofessional like way. We're just having this conversation. But let me ask you, Scott, why would those unprofessional videos do better than ones that are obviously an advertisement?
Yeah, the authenticity of them, I believe. People want to be more, they want you to be more authentic, and they'll watch them longer.
Yeah.
Because
they feel like
real.
They're coming along the journey with you.
Yeah, it feels real versus fake.
I've done this with so many companies. I'm not a professional videographer. I'm an Asian search engine math, programmer guy. Okay. And we've gone head to head against people who have $70,000 red cameras, who have film backgrounds, who worked in Hollywood, and we beat them almost every single time. When it comes to conversion. Now, we don't make beautiful ads that are winning Academy Awards or whatever. We're making things that help those local service businesses get more leads. And we do it by filming in this authentic way, like the cell phone, not singing and dancing on TikTok or whatever, but just literally just showcasing what it's like a day in the life. And Scott Swagger, well, what's it like hanging out with you? And with a local service business, people make decisions based on the vibe of whether they think they could hang out with you. If people make decisions, like we have a lot of like med spa, like liposuction doctors. We have a lot of doctors, okay, and attorneys, and then these sort of like professional people who have degrees and lots of pedigree. And I've interviewed so many patients, and I said, like, why did you choose this doctor versus whoever else you could have chosen? Like Dr. Tim Zelko in Milwaukee, why'd you choose him versus all the other doctors in Chicago or whatever that can do liposuction? There's a lot of fat people in America, and they would say. Well, what do you think they would say? I've asked this question thousands of times just because I wanted to, find out.
Yeah, I think they just felt like they could connect to them or they liked them.
It's literally that simple. And these doctors and lawyers, like the more this, like I'd love to I'd love to see what you think about this. The more intelligent and more like educated these people are, the more difficult they struggle with these basic concepts. I don't know why it's so hard, because these people are so well educated. These lawyers, for example, we work with, they're so eloquent. But when it comes to making these videos where you're just trying to show what it's like hanging out, they just have trouble doing it because they're
Just
like, they think like they're
overthinking
arguing
it.
at the bar in front of the judge. They have to say every word exactly perfectly because they're in the
Yep.
courtroom. We're not in the courtroom. You don't have to wear a suit and tie. You don't have to be all like plastic and perfect. Like, just freaking hang out and be normal, because your clients are making a decision just based on whether they like, if they can have lunch with you and hang out with you. I've asked this question to so many different patients and clients. That's the number one thing. They feel like they can identify with you. And this is where people
Yeah.
say, oh, you got to be authentic and raw. Like, this whole like be authentic thing. Yes, it's true, but it doesn't mean anything. It means nothing. It's been said so often, right?
Yep.
So what we do is we collect these 1-minute videos that amplify who these folks are with the people that they want to spend time with, their clients, with their team members, celebrating a birthday, celebrating, just like literally showing their values because of these little life stories. Put it out there for $1 a day. And what a surprise. It attracts more of the kind of people that they want to attract. It's that simple. There's nothing to do with Facebook or TikTok or Google or any of that.
That's crazy. Yeah. See, and this was kind of mind blowing when I heard this from you 6 months back or so. I was at a conference there, Caleb Williams, and you were up speaking
That's
real
right.
quickly to us. And I was like, mind blown. I had never heard any of this. And I've always been kind of under the impression SEO is we have to pay whoever to do it. And I just don't understand how to do it, blah, blah, blah. And we started to implement this $1 a day. And it is crazy how you can literally see videos that are working versus not working for so cheap, and then start hammering down on those specific things and put more and more toward that money toward that in advertisements than just doing random stuff all the time, never knowing what's actually hitting.
And I'm sure you and Ryan start to talk to people that come your way, leads, whatever. Do you ever ask them, so how have you heard about us, or what have you noticed? Have you heard kind of what they say about, oh, I feel like I know you because I've been seeing you all over the place, right?
Yeah, people say all the time, oh, I feel like I know you just from, exactly what you're saying. I mean, people feel like they know my life and what I do all the time, which they have no idea, but it gives them somewhat of an insight of it.
And that's how people make decisions now. They don't base your decisions on like how smart you are about, whole life insurance policies and this mutual company versus that one. Or like a friend of mine is a cosmetic surgeon, has all the is so good. He teaches all the other cosmetic surgeons in Florida, and patients that come in have no idea like how many certifications he has and that kind of stuff. They just know that he took care of a friend of theirs, and their butt looks nicer than it did before, or whatever. It's literally that simple.
A little bit of booty work can help anybody out, right?
Yeah.
Well, Dennis, I greatly appreciate you. I know you got a conference you got to go speak out here shortly. What can you leave our guests with? Where can they find you? How could they start working with you?
Easiest thing is to Google me. And that's how I knew things were in trouble when I was at Yahoo. When people on my team, other engineers, said, why don't you Google it? And I said, you know what company you work at? Can't be saying that. But if you Google me, you'll see a full knowledge panel pop up. All these colored squares. That's the future of search. And you can click on any of those and connect with me there. Maybe it's my LinkedIn or Twitter. Maybe you want to email me. My cell phone number is personal phone is 612-707-045. Contact me. And if you are a service provider and you take good care of your clients, not because you say so, but you have proof of it, and you really, really care, and you're willing to talk about your clients and elevate your clients, then you should implement the $1 a day program, which is the one that you guys are in.
Yep.
And it's just like the law of gravity, right? You like whatever you put out there, you get more of, and all $1 a day is just amplifying what's already working. And I want everyone to understand that. I'm glad that you put that out there. I'm happy for Caleb Williams because he's put that out there. And I think I've coached him for 6 years, 7 years now. And it's working for him, not because I'm some sort of amazing person, but because someone like Caleb truly, truly cares for people. And that's what shows through.
Yep. Caleb is one of he cares more for his people than anybody I've ever met, I think.
Yeah. It's literally, that's the secret ingredient. It's not some magic algorithm shortcut magic thing.
Crazy how simple it can be if you just understand it from the root.
Yeah. Yeah.
So awesome. Well, hey, good luck today. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And I look forward to staying in touch and working with you.
Yeah. Amen. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Ryan.
Yep. Talk to you soon, Dennis. Bye.